You know, when we look at Mars, we're not just looking at a planet. We're looking at a crime scene, a 4 billion-year-old cold case. The victim? A world that might have once been full of potential. The clues are buried in rock, and the scene of the crime is millions of miles away. So what happened to Mars? Let's find out.
Okay, let's really get into this. The heart of this entire mystery is the huge difference between the Mars we see today and the Mars that might have existed billions of years ago. It's a tale of two completely different planets. So on one hand, you've got Mars today. It's this frigid, rocky desert. Its atmosphere is so thin, less than 1% of Earth's, and the average temperature is a chilly -60 Celsius. But the evidence tells a completely different story about its past. Ancient Mars. It could have been a much warmer, wetter world, with maybe even oceans and a thick, protective atmosphere. So yeah, this is our crime scene. A planet that somehow lost everything that could have sustained life. The big question is, what happened? To figure that out, we have to read the planet's diary. Just like with any cold case, the first thing you do is you build a timeline. And lucky for us, Mars has basically written its entire history down in its rocks. It's a story that unfolds in 3 epic chapters, and each one shows us a totally different version of the Red Planet. What's so wild is just how dramatically this planet transformed. Way back in the Noachian period, you can picture this chaotic but maybe a vibrant world, with meteorites hitting it, but also with flowing water. Then you get to the Hesperian, and everything changes. The planet is just racked by these huge volcanic eruptions and absolutely massive floods. And finally, you have the Amazonian period, where Mars just cools down. It loses its magnetic field, and it slowly turns into the cold, dry desert world we see today. And the number one clue through this whole transformation? Water. Right. In any search for life beyond Earth, there's one golden rule that everyone follows. Follow the water. And on Mars, the evidence for an ancient, watery past isn't just some theory. It's written all over the landscape, almost like fingerprints left at the scene of the crime. We're not talking about little trickles here. Look at these features. You see these immense channels that were carved out by catastrophic floods. You see dried up river deltas, inside craters where water must have pooled. We even find minerals, things like hematite, that could only have formed in a wet environment. It all points to one thing: a planet that was once drenched in water. And you know what? A lot of that water is actually still there. It's just in a different form. Get this, if you could somehow melt all the water ice that's currently locked up in the south polar cap of Mars, you'd have enough water to cover the entire planet in an ocean 11 meters deep. So the water didn't just disappear into space, it went into hiding, frozen at the poles and buried right under the surface. So how in the world did we uncover all these clues? Well, obviously, we couldn't go there ourselves to investigate, so we sent proxies. We sent an entire army of orbiters, landers, and rovers to act as our tireless cosmic detectives. You know, our very first look was a real shocker. Back in 1965, our first detective on the scene, Mariner 4, did a flyby and sent back these grainy, blurry pictures. And what it showed was a cratered, moon-like world. It completely shattered all those old ideas of a Mars covered in canals and vegetation. But that didn't close the case. Nope. It just made the mystery that much deeper, and it made us even more determined to send better detectives. And you can really see here how this investigation has built up over the decades. Every mission sort of stood on the shoulders of the one before it. You had the Viking landers doing the first real science on the surface. Then Pathfinder gave us our first successful rover. The European Space Agency's Mars Express has spent 20 years mapping the planet's water history in incredible detail. And now we have Perseverance on the ground, collecting what might be the most important evidence yet. It's a pretty wild thought, isn't it? As we speak, there's an entire fleet of robots from different space agencies all working together on Mars, piecing together the clues to this ancient mystery. And one of those detectives, Perseverance, just found what might be the most tantalizing lead in this entire multi-billion-year-old case. Okay, this brings us to the very latest breakthrough, a discovery from Jezero Crater that could completely change everything we thought we knew about Mars. Honestly, this is the kind of moment investigators have been waiting for decades. So our robotic detectives are hunting for one thing above all else: a biosignature. Think of it as the ultimate evidence, like finding a fingerprint or a DNA sample at a crime scene. It's a sign that's not just consistent with life, but is really, really hard to explain without it. And just recently, the Perseverance rover found something that might just fit the bill. This was the headline, based on real reports from NASA that sent some serious shockwaves through the entire scientific community. So the crucial question is, what in the world did Perseverance find in that ancient dried-up riverbed?
Okay, here's the rundown. In a rock formation they nicknamed Chayava Falls, the rover drilled out a little core sample. This sample, called Sapphire Canyon, is our Exhibit A. And what's inside it is, well, it's incredibly intriguing. It has combinations of minerals and organic compounds that are one of the most promising signs of ancient microbial life we have ever found. But, and there's always a but, there's a catch. We can't be 100% sure just by looking at it with a rover. Look, the rovers are absolutely incredible. They're like world-class field geologists. But they have limits. To really, truly crack this case, to confirm what's in that Sapphire Canyon sample, we need to get that evidence into our best labs, right here on Earth.
And this is the final act of the investigation. The Mars Sample Return Mission is this incredibly audacious plan that NASA and the European Space Agency are putting together. It involves sending a lander, collecting the samples that Perseverance has already sealed up, and then launching them back into space to bring them home for the most intense forensic analysis you can possibly imagine.
So what you should really take away from all this is that we're standing on the edge of a discovery that could change everything. All the evidence points to a different Mars, a world of water and warmth. Our robotic detectives are on the scene, and the most promising clue we've ever found is sealed up, just waiting for pickup. Answering the question of what happened to Mars, well, that won't just solve a cosmic cold case. It could fundamentally redefine our place in the entire universe.